Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Wrestling with Things. We wrestle with all sorts of things in sports and entertainment. And now, here are your hosts, David and Sammy Joseph.
So many marquee names and free agents and trade chips have been bouncing around in the rumor mill. So I think it would be fun and great to name the best fit and destination for each one of these names that have been hot on the market. So, Sammy, I'm going to start here with Chris Paul. Where's the best fit for him to succeed?
The LA Clippers.
Why?
If he really wants that championship, that forcing his way to LA, or a scenario like maybe Miami, if Pat Riley's willing to walk away from Dragic, or I would say Milwaukee. But I've been saying that for years, and I just don't know if he wants to, live there or stay there, because it's kind of it's not warm enough, you know what I mean? And also all the racial stuff that was been going on just not too long ago. I don't know if he wants to live there, but the Clippers I would pick as my number one. You got Kawhi Leonard, you got Paul George. Kawhi said he wanted somebody quintessential. He wanted somebody who could, spread the floor, run the floor, set him up. That would be the best ideal situation.
No, I think the Clippers is a hell of a good look, and he already has that relationship there with the owner, Ballmer, and he obviously is arguably one of the best Clippers of all time. So I think it would be great, and they really do need a point guard. Like, Kawhi had his career high in assists, but let's be honest, he doesn't like having to worry about passing. He's at his best when someone's getting him set up for himself, and he doesn't have to worry about getting a lot of assists. I respect the Clips pick. I think it would be that type of contender that would get him closest to a chip. But I have to go with Miami. I got to give Miami the edge. I think, first of all, it puts them in the Eastern Conference. I think once you go into the Eastern Conference, your star's going to shine brighter. He already shined in the West for years, but now he's going to shine even more. Even though he's 35, he'll shine even more on the East. And I really do think it's inevitable that some other team's going to get Dragic. So why not have Chris Paul, start for 2 or 3 seasons and see what happens in Miami with Jimmy Butler. And then you have Kendrick Nunn continue to get better and get mentored by him, be the backup. He's shown that he's decent. But I think Miami could help him shine brighter. He has more to upgrade on that team. And I really think someone like him and Jimmy Butler would get along real well. I just think their games would fit. Could shoot and defend. Jimmy Butler likes playing with players that defend their asses off, and Chris Paul's always done that. So I'm gonna give Miami the edge with Chris Paul.
I love that pick, man, because like you said, it's the East. You know what I mean? And if you really do want that ring, what easier way? It's the East, man. Yeah. You got 2-3 teams to worry about.
I don't know why stars don't think that way, man. I want to stand out more. Let me go over the East. Let me get into the All-Star game easier. Let me stand out more.
It's the smart way, and I call it the LeBron blueprint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They should have took notes from LeBron. How you think he got those eight straight?
For God's sakes, the Atlanta Hawks. Look at the 1 seeds that have happened in the Atlanta Hawks with Jeff T. Corver, Horford were once a 60-win team. That's not happening in the West. So if I'm a star, I'm like, man, look at the 1 seeds that been in the East, the Cavs, the Hawks, those things. I'm a star. I'm going over there. I want to stand out. It's me, though. But let's move on to the controversial, the ever powerful and odd character, Russell Westbrook. Where do you think the best fit is for him to succeed and to help a team at least?
Man, I look at Russell as a similar situation to Chris Paul because, you know what I mean? if he goes to some place like New York or let's say Charlotte, you know what I mean? He's gonna officially have that stamp of, yo, you just chasing numbers. You're a loser. You know what I mean? You got the iconic numbers that's hard to do, and we probably won't ever see it done ever again, because somebody that size getting triple doubles that easily, it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's just hard to do. But I also want to see him maybe land somewhere like Miami, just like I wanted a few years back. And I would pick somewhere, maybe like Utah, because Donovan Mitchell actually needs that extra punch on the side. So if Donovan Mitchell could get that extra punch on the side, will at least compete for a first or second round. I just don't want to see him in a graveyard situation, Dave.
Nah, I don't want that personally. Like, I don't want to see him go from a playoff team to basically going back to Oklahoma City the last couple years where he had to do A, B, C, and D. Yeah. I don't want that. But you know what? With the way his contract is structured and how he is on the market, he might end up in a situation like that. And I do kind of feel like when push comes to shove, I can't think of a team that needs a point guard that is a playoff team that he could start instantly. That most of those teams already have a point guard in place. So he kind of has to go to a lesser team that is fighting to get in the playoffs. I could see the Knicks making sense because he'll go there. It'll be like OKC. You surround them with a little bit lesser talent, but he'll get mad stats. He might get them into the playoffs and get some extra tickets and relevancy that they never had. So they've never had that in forever. So maybe that's what they could use. And he'll have RJ Barrett, who I think still has potential. So I can't think of another team. So I have to say the Knicks. I think the Knicks, or if he somehow still works it out with Houston, I don't think that's too bad of a situation either.
So you didn't like my Utah pick. You don't think that the Utah or Miami situation could work?
I don't like Miami because Russell's not a great 3-point shooter, and Jimmy's not a jacker. Jimmy can make threes, but he's not a jacker. So it's like you'll have both guys slashing, and that's not going to complement one another too hard, especially with Adebayo. So I don't think it would fit with Jimmy Butler that well. It'd be nice to watch, but in Utah, I think Donovan Mitchell 6'2" and Russell 6'3". I think that's too small of a backcourt. I think you would have big problems defensively. That's me though.
So you don't think that could compete for like a first, second round? Because it would be an upgrade. It would be an upgrade for Mike Conley. That's the only way I'm thinking.
Of course it would be, but against a lot of the better teams, that's a really small backcourt. Even though those guys are talented, those guys are really talented, but neither one of them defend. Russell used to defend, but the last couple of years he's kind of been ignoring defense. I just feel like it would help Donovan Mitchell offensively, but it would be a flawed in every other way to me.
I agree. That Donovan's not the biggest of guys, and he has that trouble sometimes. You know what I mean? And Russ, he's not the biggest of guys, and he's aging. So I can see where you're coming from.
A dark horse is, I don't know. I don't hate him on the Clippers. I don't hate the thought of that.
I hate it.
Somehow do. You hate it.
I hate it.
I don't hate the thought of Russell Westbrook on the Clippers. I really don't.
I don't think we already seen him and PG not work out, and then Kawhi Leonard.
That's fair, but Paul George did look his best that year. That's the best he's looked since Indiana. He went off.
True, but at the end of the day, it's Kawhi's team, and Kawhi Leonard. I don't think Kawhi Leonard will want to deal with a headache like Russ. He just doesn't have the personality for it.
Part of me feels like a motivator and a guy that wants to play hardcore every night and wants to play as hard as he could might be good for that culture of load managing and let me relax and let me chill. That part of Westbrook might really be good for that team. And I know he makes his bad decisions in the fourth, but the last couple of years, one thing he has gotten better at is being willing to give up the ball and at least passing and at least getting assists. So I do think if he came in with the mindset of just getting assists, we already know he would be like third option on a team like that. That might, it's not going to make him a perfect player. It's not going to change him, but that might force him to have a role that actually fits where he's at right now. Like asking him to do less might bring out a better Westbrook. That's how I'm thinking about it. He's not going to be asked to do a lot like on those other teams.
No, but see, that's the thing. That's going to be the tough part.
And he'll have more energy to defend.
But is he going to listen and actually do less? You know what I mean? Because we've seen him. We've seen this guy with guys like Durant make terrible fourth quarter decisions. And even in Houston, you know what I mean? He loves to just, think he could run at guys in the fourth quarter and, throw up any kind of layup and any kind of shot. You know what I mean? Kawhi's not going to, I don't see Kawhi having tolerance for that, man.
So, is it fair to say this year in Houston, by the second half of the season, he made it a concerted effort. He still was Westbrook, had his flaws and all, but he stopped jacking up a lot of three-pointers. He did learn that, I should stop shooting these as much and focus on getting to the paint. That's why he's shot in his highest field goal percentage in years this year. So I think that's a step in the right direction that he will possibly listen, because people like Westbrook, when they're surrounded by a good coach and players that are actually better than him like that, to get in line almost. And yes, I think Ty Lue will be good for Westbrook too.
No, but it's just those moments, Dave. You know what I mean? I just don't think Kawhi is gonna have patience for those moments, man, where he just flashes back and goes extra wild, because it's gonna come out in one way or another. It's gonna come out, and Kawhi's already complaining, saying, I want someone who's a general. I want someone who's quintessential.
Tony Parker back up in there. That's
he's not gonna have patience for somebody like Westbrook, man. Especially in those moments where PG's choking, he's gonna feel like he has to, put up like 24 shots or 28 shots.
So you don't think, let's say it did happen, you don't think Westbrook at point makes them better than what they have now? Because
no, I think they would get worse.
Wow.
I think they would get worse. I think
at the end of the day, he's a way better facilitator and setup guy than Pat Beverly. Beverly's just literally a defender.
Yeah, but what Beverly
improved his passing. He did.
No, but Beverly doesn't do as much antics as Westbrook. That's what it is. You know what I mean? The media antics, the on-court antics, like it's a headache that you got to be willing to swallow. That's and the fair. Clippers are just not in a position to swallow, because they're right there. They're right there. A little tweak and they're eye to eye with the Lakers.
All right, let's go on to the guy that I've been praying, begging, and asking my Lord and Savior to get him off my team, DeMar DeRozan. Where do you think the best fit is for him?
Again, what I because I want to see my man Donovan get some help. I said I would think, why not? You know what I mean? Why not try to get your way to Utah, or why not maybe go to Indiana? You know what I mean? And try to be with Sabonis. You know what I mean? Because there's a possibility. Oladipo might take his direction elsewhere. So he would be like a kind of a good guy to take that Oladipo role.
Indiana's interesting. That's a new one. Nah, that's a really good fit. Yeah, they're a team. Wow, that would be a good fit. I didn't really particularly think about that because I think Oladipo's as good as gone, and it would be perfect to get a proven offensive weapon that could get you 20, 22 a night. Yeah. So I do think he would, and nobody's really over there to step on his toes. He would kind of give them the perimeter scoring they need. Sabonis would continue to do his thing.
Yeah.
And TJ Warren kind of showed he upped his game a little bit, and they got Brogdon.
Good third
option. He would fit a little bit. I think that team's a sleeper. They got some good things going for them on the low. I think Orlando. I think a team like Orlando's searching for that guy on the perimeter that could get them and go get it. Like Vucevic has been that guy by default. He puts up his numbers. He's a good player, but I do think his style fits with DeMar DeRozan because he could stretch the floor. He could play inside out. He rebounds, and DeMar does the slashing and the facilitating. And you still got Jonathan Isaac over there to defend and cover up for DeMar's weaknesses on defense, unless he was in that trade. But personally, I think if I'm the Spurs, man, I think the Orlando has some pieces that are interesting and Indiana to try to pull something off.
No, seriously, because you know what I mean, especially with the Orlando case, there's no guy that's really a wing guy who you're really afraid of.
Yeah,
in terms of that team,
need of that.
And with Indiana, I just think Indiana's they're already in a good position to scare somebody, out their boots if they're fully healthy. Because this year they really wasn't fully healthy. That's the only reason why they got mopped off the floor. You know what I mean? If they had Sabonis and a fully healthy Victor, I think that would have been a 7-game series.
They would be a bigger threat than a lot of people realize if they were fully healthy.
Yeah, you get DeRozan over there, and you still got Malcolm getting better. You know what I mean? Like that's a silent 3-headed monster. I think that would give Boston a run for their money. You know what I mean? Milwaukee a run for its money. And again, I want to see my man Donovan get some help, man. I really, no, seriously. I really like Donovan so much.
He needs a bona fide second option.
I think him and DeRozan could do something. I really do.
I'm scared of that fit. Not because of Donovan, because of DeRozan. But I'm scared of his next to him.
Has a second option?
Yeah. He could maybe do it, but I'm scared of it.
I don't think he's ever really got the chance to be like a true second option. That's the only reason why I want him to fit in these type of scenarios.
I think he'd be a great second or third right now. That's why they got these Laker rumors all of a sudden.
Man, the Lakers need to cut it out, dude. Seriously.
I don't think he fits over there, to be honest with me. Unless he came off the bench.
It's just like who do you really want?
They got no assets.
I mean, Kyle Kuzma, he's pretty good, and I still think
he lowered his noise value a little bit.
Yeah, but that inconsistency scared me a lot throughout the season, man.
It's like,
can you really be that dude?
To be fair to him, Anthony Davis plays the same position as him, so it kind of fucks up his minutes and his rhythm. They're both power forwards. Like Kuzma needs a team where he's getting to touch it like a lot. But he was inconsistent. He disappeared. But I think Lakers ain't the team for him. They should have kept Lonzo or Bi. He should have been in that picture.
The Danny Green thing. Danny Green's aging.
Taking him back, bro.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think San Antonio would want to bring old Danny back and just take a Kyle Kuzma. That's the thing with the Lakers, dude. You guys don't really got a whole lot of youth. You know what I mean? Nobody is gonna want these. You know what I mean? These guys who were great in 09 and 08. Yeah.
Real talk.
Seriously.
Danny Green, another inconsistent. I love him, but it's mad inconsistent. All right, James Harden. Where do you think's the best fit for him?
Damn, man. I gotta go with Brooklyn. I can't see him really anywhere else. You know what I mean? Because he's another guy. I think he needs to sit there and seriously think to himself, like, yo, I can't be the number one, man. You know what I mean? I failed too many times. You know what I mean? I failed. If I go over to Brooklyn, I get to be back with Kevin Durant, somebody who was just champion and probably would have been champion again had it not been for injury. You know what I mean? And then you got Kyrie right there, who's going to hit all the big shots. If you really think about it, he'll get to go back to his original role if he goes to Brooklyn.
I think he would be the number two there on most nights. Him and Kyrie would kind of switch off.
Yeah, they would battle, but he would go back to like his original role when he was in OKC.
Yeah,
that guy
who's more of the facilitator than Kyrie. Yeah,
that guy who's pitching it around, just laying back. You know what I mean? Not dribbling the ball like 50 times before he does something. You know what I mean? All that will be erased, and then he'll be back in the OKC role where I think he was the most dangerous.
Yeah. That was when he played more well-rounded. He wasn't like one-dimensional, didn't rely on the whistle as much, even though he makes it work and he's a star. But I think that going to a team like the Nets, I honestly do think that's the best fit for him too. I think that's another trade that would benefit Houston as well, probably the most. But if he goes over there and doesn't have to carry the burden, ISO ball, it might make him the best version of James Harden that we've seen. And let's be honest, he's done it all. All he needs is to make it back to the finals and win it all and help a team win. It's not about, playing ISO ball and getting all the credit. I think someone like him does need to, go somewhere where it's not all about his performances. And yeah, I hope this Nets move happen. It's definitely the best move to me. I think Miami's another honorable mention, saying that team a lot, but Miami, I think James Harden, Jimmy Butler, that would complement each other pretty good.
I don't know about Miami, only because who would be the one?
The one?
Like, who would be the number one man in that situation? Just if you put that together.
Jimmy. It's Jimmy's team. They've made that clear.
I'm not sure.
Especially after this finals run, he took his respect to another level. It's Jimmy's team. Dwayne Wade gave him the endorsement.
You think Harden would be fine with that?
Where it's not all about him getting 50 and making contested shots. And Miami's a place that he won't have to do that. Like, he just needs somewhere like that. I believe in his ability to be a winner on a winning team.
I got to sleep on that Miami one a little bit more. No, I got to sleep on it.
It's interesting.
It is interesting because I'm not sure he would be okay with going to the team and just being under Jimmy. I think he would do that if it's Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's already a champion.
He doesn't see one thing. He's never really been selfish in my view.
No, it's not. It's not about selfishness. It's just about the tears. I think he would look at Jimmy like, "Yo, you're too close to my tear." You see what I'm saying?
Got that. I feel that.
You know what I mean? But if it's Kevin Durant, you can't say nothing. You coming over here, you gotta get in line.
That's true. That's facts. I buy that. That's definitely a relevant factor. Look, Goran Dragic, where you think the best fit for him is?
Hey, I know I'm gonna keep saying this team, man.
I think the Lakers. Honestly,
I was gonna go back to Utah. You know what I mean? I'm serious, man. I want to see free my man, Donovan Mitchell.
Too old for Utah's timeline. Utah.
Goran Dragic was balling before he got hurt, man.
Goran's a baller, but old players going on to young nucleuses, it just doesn't add up all the time. It's like he's old. Like, I think he needs a veteran team like the Lakers, where they need a point guard that could facilitate and score at the same time when LeBron's on the bench. And he's affordable, more affordable than most. I think if they could find a way to get him, they come up and that increases their chances of maybe repeating. Because they're not gonna get any of the big star point guards. Why not get arguably the best one available, or the best non-all-star guard that you could get?
Nah, I definitely like what you're setting up too with the whole Lakers thing, and he would fit right in too because he's 30
Perfect.
plus. He's 30 plus. He could fit right in with the rest of them old flunkies, dude.
LeBron likes old people on his team, bro.
He does like old people.
Notice when he has young people, he gets them traded. Wiggins, he got him away. Lonzo, Bi, he didn't want to deal with them. He acts like he likes them, and then he watches them go. Kuzma's next.
Yeah. He does like his seasoned vet. So I love that Lakers move. I like how you put it together. But also the Clippers right next door could use someone like him. If they miss out on the other point guards available, they might as well, try to track him down, because he'll make the right passes and he'll make the right shots.
Yeah. That's perfect for them. I like that better than the Rondo rumor. They're saying they would be interested in Rondo, and I know Rondo's nice in the playoffs, but I think Georgia gives you a little bit more still. Like,
oh, for sure.
I like that for the Clippers too.
For sure, and you could throw Milwaukee in there too if they miss out on the guards.
That is an upgrade over Bledsoe. But almost anything's an upgrade over Bledsoe.
Yeah. Man, Bledsoe makes me so sad.
I can't say not much about that. One of the LA teams, I like the sound of that. I think for those teams and for Goran's career personally, it's just those are perfect matches. Serge Ibaka, where you think he could be the most effective?
Man, honestly, I was gonna say Boston.
I'd say that's a good spot.
Boston needs the anchor. You know what I mean? That's one of the things. That's one of the biggest holes I seen in Boston all season long. Like,
and he's 7 foot and plays center now, so They need that type of center. And he could shoot.
Seriously.
So that's a great.
I definitely think that move right there, and not only that, he's came a long way shooting wise.
Yeah.
So
what? He's seriously wet. He shot 38% from three.
So they might as well, get Cantor out of there. You know what I mean? Get whoever they got out of there. Bring Serge in.
Tyson. I know but get him out of here. He's too small. Get them all out of here, man. Celtics have needed. The crazy part is, I'm sorry. We need to start sizing up. I don't want to get off topic because we got a couple more names, but we need to start side-eyeing the Celtics as, are they like Houston? Are they that team that's just banging their head against the wall every year and never getting to the finals or a championship? They've had a gap in that center position for years, and they don't address it. They've had assets for years, and they don't address that. Get a freaking center. Go after who at least a Miles Turner, at least, like another big man that could block and stretch the floor. But Serge Ibaka would be perfect because he's known for being one of the best blockers of this decade, basically. And he really knocks down that three. He rebounds. He has championship experience and playing in big games. I love that for the Celtics, man. I love that.
No, but I agree with everything you said, man. They have been, dedicated to the small ball for a little too long.
Damn.
You know what I mean? In every single season, I hear multiple people say the same thing. Multiple analysts, multiple shows, like they got to get somebody who can protect that down low hole, man. It's important. Like everybody tries to ignore it, but it's important.
It's still teams that win have a big guy that could block and rebound.
Yeah, the teams that win championships usually have at least one or two guys that bring that to the table. You know what I mean? It's important.
Personally, I love the Celtics fit, but my personal opinion, I think Ibaka would be really great on the Nets too. There's slightly some interest there. I do think that's another great situation for him. He has history with Kevin Durant. He would give them the defense that they need. He could play the 4 or he could play the 5 over there. He's versatile, but you might have won me over with that Celtics pick. I think the Celtics need him more. I think they could use him more.
True, because at the end of the day, Nets could just hold on to Jared Allen.
Yeah. And they got DeAndre off the bench.
Yeah.
All right, last name on the list, Victor Oladipo. Where do you think the best situation is for him? A lot of teams want him on the low, and I really think he could be one of those players that takes a team to another gear as a second or third option. Where you think he ends up?
I was thinking about him for a long time. You know what I mean? Because I hope he's somebody who can come back 100% and look like the Oladipo from before. Things got bad with the knee injury. But I was thinking Phoenix. I was thinking Utah because I want my man to get some help. You know what I mean? That's been the thing.
He's the first guy that you've named that I think he would actually fit. That he would help Donovan Mitchell. That fits to me. That makes a little more sense.
Yo, I would accept anything for Donovan, dude. I really will. At the end of the day, and I was thinking honestly, Orlando could just bring him back. You know what I mean? Because they should have never got rid of him to begin with. That was one of the.
That's an interesting one.
No, seriously, because that was one of the moves that broke my heart. I feel like they gave up on him way too early. I felt like they should have just held on to him. You know what I mean? His future always looked bright. It still looks bright. Still don't think we've seen the full Victor Oladipo.
He would. I I think people forget, like, I know it's Indiana and no one pays attention to the Pacers, but that last year he was there, he solidified himself as a proven all-star. He was on his way up to maybe becoming a superstar. He still has that superstar potential. I think he has a superstar structure in him. I really do. He plays D. He could shoot the three respectably. He could handle it. He could play the point a little bit. He kind of has good size on him too. Like, I think he could help a team out. I'm gonna throw a wild card out there. I like the Phoenix one, by the way, but honorable mentions the Bucks. I think he could definitely help them, but I'm gonna say if he could somehow get on Portland, I think they need a wing player like that. Like, and in this league, a lot of teams go out there and play three guards at the same time these days. Like Houston did it with Eric Gordon, Harden, and Westbrook. A few other teams do it. The Spurs did it a few times last year. So I think because Oladipo plays bigger than he is, even though he's 6'4", I think you could get away with him playing the three and with CJ McCollum, and he could be that defender on the perimeter that they've been missing, and he'll also give them points. I think if they could somehow get to him, I don't know if they could afford them because he's a they're a small market team. Excuse me, but I like the sound of that.
Yeah. I wasn't even you got me with that one. I wasn't even thinking about the Portland Trail Blazers. They could use something like that, especially because of the fact that they're most likely going to lose Carmelo Anthony. You know what I mean? They definitely need to figure out, okay, who can we bring here that can replace that presence? And not only that, you'll be getting a two-way presence.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
last time Portland's had a two-way wing player that could score and defend. Al-Farouq Aminu, Nicholas Batum. They always have those type of people. Like,
and CJ
and Dame, when you have players like that could get their buckets from anywhere, you need to surround them with guys that do the dirty work and can get their points a little bit. And Oladipo's perfect with that. You need to surround them with guys that just defend their behinds off, and so they don't need to worry about defense as much because they're not defenders. So I think that's a big priority for Portland. They need to get a little bit aggressive and creative because they need a guy like that.
Yeah,